Here's the thing about him talking about, for instance, institutional racism. This is a guy who's been in government since, I think, 1976, I believe it was, since the 1970s. He wrote the crime bill in the 1990s that put all these black people in prison. And by the way, that crime bill was a good bill. That crime bill actually brought down crime in those neighborhoods. But it's just a start, right? You're putting people in prison, every other black guy being put in prison is not a good answer. It was just the desperation because crime had become in those days like it is now because of leftist policies. It was a reaction to the failure of leftist policies. So and again, it's the guy on the bottom who suffers, right? Nobody said, hey, we've got to do something to get dads back into those families instead of putting up stupid billboards telling you to act like a father. Maybe we should start rearranging our welfare policy so we don't pay people to have children out of wedlock. Maybe we ought to bring back the churches and actually preach the morality that keeps people together. Maybe we got to start preaching about this and stop telling people they're sexist if they say there's got to be a father in the home, saying that fish has got to be riding on a bicycle or she ain't going anywhere, right? Unbelievable. And the New York Post, Stephen Nelson, the New York Post, the actual newspaper of record in this country now, asks Jen Psaki about the fact that Biden has been in this system that is supposed to be racist is Joe Biden. He is the system. He's been in this system for so long. New York Post Stephen Nelson asks Jen Psaki. This is cut one.
To what extent does President Biden acknowledge his own role in systemic racism, and how does that inform his current policy positions?
Well, I would say that one of the president's core objectives is addressing racial injustice in this country, not just through his rhetoric, but through his actions. And what anyone should look to is his advocacy for passing the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, for nominating leaders to the Department of Justice to address long outdated policies, and to ask his leadership team here in the White House to prioritize these issues in his presidency, which is current and today and not from 30 years ago.
Does he believe it's important to accept his own culpability?
I think I've answered your question.
Shut up, Stephen. Shut the hell up and get out. Don't tell me don't bring the truth in. This is the White House press room. We don't have the truth in here. You can't tell the truth in the White House press. Today she brought in cookies. She brought in chocolate chip cookies. The journalists were thrilled. They were like, oh boy, chocolate chip cookies. This is almost as good as information. And the news media, of course, we just have to make at least a detour to the news media. The Media Research Center, during Joe Biden's first 3 months in office, the broadcast evening newscasts have showered Biden with 59% positive press, as opposed to the 89% negative press they gave to Donald Trump. So this is a guy, right, who is loading regulations and spending onto the economy, and he's not going to be penalized for it because the economy is going to come roaring back from the lockdown, right? So he's going to benefit from the roaring back to the lockdown. There are already articles, the Biden boom. It's not a Biden boom, but, these things are going to come back up and destroy the economy about 2-3 years down the road. But this is the way they're covering this guy.
Tonight, history is made. Joe Biden becomes the 46th president of the United States.
Joe Biden, whose own life has made him an expert on healing from trauma, now taking over a country that needs exactly that.
Kill me
his
now.
Heartbreak and hard work, his empathy, bringing him to this moment.
Here in Europe, among America's allies, there is a sense of relief.
And that cabinet meeting today showcased the most diverse cabinet in history.
Cooper Jones says she thinks the Biden administration will help heal America's racial divide.
The majority of Americans, including Republicans, approve of his efforts to get more shots into arms.
The president delivered a shot of hope.
And reporters didn't have a single question about vaccine distribution, international vaccines, the COVID economy, and the fact that there was no COVID questions. Well, in some ways, that's a reflection that maybe COVID's going pretty well for Biden.
The president has also condemned the racist rhetoric used to describe the virus.
Biden also getting high marks for his handling of the economy.
When everybody is saying the same thing, you have to be crazy to think that it's all lies. You have to be crazy to think that you're living in the Matrix. But you are. I mean, this is the problem. We are too sane, so we get involved in these conversations like, we can convince these people to stop lying.